McLaurin. He's a guy who I feel like he still doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Hands, like, Terry gonna catch everything. Like, you rarely see him drop a pass, like, even in practice.
Coming off of his 5th consecutive season of 1,000 plus receiving yards, with only 2 Pro Bowl nods to show for it, there's no doubt that Terry McLaurin is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. This is largely because of being drafted by a dysfunctional franchise in DC, but Scary Terry has refused to be a victim of the circumstance, becoming a reliable receiver despite a merry-go-round of quarterbacks until 2024. And yes, while he is getting his flowers today, Terry McLaurin's road to the top has been long and extremely deserved, with his peers around the league signing his praises every step along the way. And in today's video, we're going to look at different times that players, coaches, and even analysts tried to talk down on Terry McLaurin and doubt how good he was. Because, well, this is exactly what NFL players think about Terry McLaurin. The former Indiana Mr. Football would have to wait 2 years at Ohio State before catching a pass in college football. He'd also play an important role on special teams, showing steady improvement and a likable character, which endeared him to his teammates. By his senior season in 2018, McLaurin was a big play threat, stretching the field for the Buckeye offense, who went on to win the Big Ten. McLaurin's 3 receptions for 78 yards and 2 scores sealed the conference championship, made even more special by the fact that it was played in Indianapolis. Ohio State's head coach Urban Meyer wanted to be clear too that this performance was no fluke.
He always has a game like that. It's just a matter of us getting him the ball. He actually could have had more today. He broke loose a couple times, but Terry is he'll go down as a Buckeye great, and there's so many unselfish things he does for this program and team. You know, him and Paris gave the pregame talk today. That's how powerful those two guys are.
And after a season of catching passes from a primed Dwayne Haskins, he followed his quarterback into the draft. A strong showing at the Senior Bowl was only good enough to get Terry projected for the 3rd round, as scouts were unconvinced by his acceleration despite a startling top-end speed and slick route running. The day before the draft, though, Dwayne Haskins tweeted out a plea to any team selecting him that he would also bring one of his wide receivers from Columbus to play alongside him. And I mean, after Haskins went 15th overall, McLaurin had to wait 61 picks for his wish to come true, as he was selected 76 overall by the Washington Redskins. Washington's head coach at the time too, Jay Gruden, praised his 3rd round pick's versatility shortly after the draft.
Terry is another guy who can take the top off, but he's run all kinds of routes. He's run shallow crosses, he's run stuff across the middle. They're both very versatile in their route tree. That's why we like them. They don't just run bubble screens and hitches or go balls. They run a little bit of everything.
I mean, even coming out of the draft, the expectations for McLaurin were still pretty low. And well, that wasn't until training camp where he absolutely balled out and was named a Washington starter for week 1. In that game, he went for an impressive 125 yards and a touchdown in a loss to the Eagles. It was quite the way to set the tone for his career, as the rookie finished the season with over 900 yards through the air as the team's leading receiver. He came back to post over 1,100 yards in year 2, making the playoffs with a 7-9 record amidst chaos in Washington surrounding the franchise's name and future. Terry proved this performance wasn't a fluke by surpassing the 1,000-yard mark again in 2021, but was still not receiving any hype from the league or media. Like, the dude got no Pro Bowl nods, no unnecessary noise, and was just a star receiver that was outperforming every expectation set for him. I mean, as crazy as it sounds too, at least Colin Cowherd was showing the guy some respect.
Terry McLaurin has just been great. 3rd round pick, Ohio State. He has over-delivered. He probably doesn't see it that way, but he's been unbelievable. A 2nd year in the NFL, and he has now led the Washington, almost had 90 catches, 1,200 yards, 134 targets. He is a #1 receiver in the NFL, and they got him in the 3rd round. Not supposed to work that way.
In 2022, though, McLaurin made it impossible for the league to ignore him any longer, posting 1,191 yards for 5 scores, finally earning him an invitation to the Pro Bowl. His quarterback at the time, Taylor Heineke, explained why Terry was so unique among NFL wide receivers too. McLaurin faced off against the ever-cocky Jair Alexander that season. He torched the Packers corner to the tune of 5 receptions for 73 yards and a score in a narrow Washington win. And when he was asked about his struggles against Terry in a rare moment of humility, the corner explained it this way.
That game, I was not locked in. I wasn't locked in that game. Well, no. I was locked in, but I wasn't locked in, you know what I'm saying, to the highest, you know? And I got to clarify that, I got to.
I mean, look, I think that's about as close as you're going to get to just outright praise from Jair Alexander. But that's the best part, though, because Terry McLaurin didn't just send Jair Alexander soul searching, but he sent another one too that's also from the NFC East and just loves getting burned in Trayvon Diggs. Like, the dude Trayvon Diggs literally admitted he struggled to cover the Commanders wideout in his rookie year.
That was my only bad game, bro. Who was your guard? Terry McLaurin.
Bro, you got cooked, man, bro.
What happened?
You got cooked.
You saw it?
Yeah, bro.
What
I
he
watched
did?
the highlights. He scored 3 touchdowns on you.
And what he did?
And he was trying to tackle him, but then he just ran past you.
What was his celebration?
It was like a hug, something with the teammates.
He really scored 3 touchdowns on you? No.
Yes,
Or
bro.
one.
Bro, you trash.
Oh, and not only that, but the other cornerbacks from the division and guys like James Bradbury and Darius Slate also had something to say about guarding this dude twice a year.
Terry nice. Terry nice. You didn't get to see Terry this year. Like I had one against Terry.
You had Terry, so
I had that. Terry fast as shit.
Fast as shit.
Fast as shit. Come on, too fast, man. I don't know. I like bro need to slow down, and you know he good for a lot of go balls. I'm talking about. I'm like, damn, bro, how many go balls you gonna run today, bro? Can you like run a stop today? Can you please? But nope, he want to keep on running to like he Forrest Gump out the tunnel.
We're gonna tell our post safety about that before next year.
Easily, hey man, hey, you see Terry over here? Just slide right here, cause since he want to run these go balls, just a little bit.
Get him off me for a little minute.
Man, I'm talking about Terry, just make him look twice now. By that time he looked twice, he sat.
Like, I mean, that says a lot for guys that are like known trash talkers in your division to sing high praises about you. That means you've got to be good, right? Like, no doubt having to guard this dude twice a year has to be an absolute nightmare, but that's what also makes these dudes so credible when we hear them talk about how good Terry McLaurin is. A destitute 4-win season in 2023, though, where, shocker, McLaurin passed the 1,000-yard mark again, would actually prove to be a turning point in the fortunes of the franchise. A change in ownership brought about a new hope and finally some light at the end of the tunnel for Commanders fans. A fresh set of faces in Washington finally got to work in 2024, completely revamping the structure and identity of the franchise. And while it did take some time for Terry to adjust, fans around the league could tell early on that there was something different about this Commanders team. Like Steve Smith Sr., one of the all-time just toughest and best receivers in the league to ever play that we all know, even had this to say about Terry McLaurin and how he was adjusting.
You could see he's had some changing of the arms with quarterbacks ownership. He's had some difficult offenses, and that has just helped him. It allows him to really master his craft, know how and why. And I hate to say it, and I wish it wasn't the case, but you could see when you have an improved offensive coordinator with a better quarterback play, with a offense that has a true identity, that your game levels up in a way that a lot of people did not know it was there because you weren't given the opportunity. You weren't given the chance to really study the game in a way that could benefit you and put in a position and armed with the right plays to display what type of player you can be, what you have been, and then also working on your craft in the offseason as well.
I mean, no doubt one of the reasons that McLaurin has been able to flourish this year is because of his upgrade at quarterback. With Jaden Daniels himself taking note of the star wideout, relishing the team's success after 5 seasons as part of a dreadful unit.
I mean, it's great just to be able to go out there and see Terry happy and enjoy the season. And obviously, we want to get the ball to one of our best players many times as possible with the defense permitting that. So it's great to move Terry around. So, hey, maybe Terry might get the attention and slide on the right side. We got somebody one-on-one on the left side, stuff like that. So it's just unselfish things to go out there and have fun and free up other guys to make plays too.
Terry's attitude of selflessness and grit go back to his college days, which is perhaps what sets him apart the most beyond his obvious athletic gifts. Like grinding to go from a 3rd-round draft pick to a cornerstone of a franchise is no small feat and has rightfully earned him the love and adoration from his teammates in Washington. After a career-high 13 touchdowns on 1,096 yards receiving in the regular season, it earned him a second-team All-Pro honors. McLaurin and Washington headed into his second postseason as the NFC 6th seed. And while down 3-0 in Tampa Bay, backed up on a 3rd and 6, Daniels aired it out to his favorite target for a 35-yard completion on the opening drive, a critical tone setter for the team. Cliff Kingsbury even explained how important his energy is to this team and their success.
More so, I think, getting Terry the ball. He's a guy, you see the sideline erupts, like he gets going. I just got to continue to find ways to get him touches early. But that was a tremendous throw and catch, and definitely gave us some confidence. But when he's involved early, we've been a lot better on offense.
And as we all know, they ended up getting the win that night, surprising everybody. And well, Cliff Kingsbury's words echo with that entire team. Like, Scary Terry is now an emotional veteran leader on this team, and after sticking with them through thick and thin, he deserves to enjoy every bit of their current success. Other NFL teams are finally having to pay the respect that he does deserve, with the Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn having no doubts about the wideout's ability to affect games.
But he's highly competitive. He does a really good job on 50-50 balls, which you wouldn't think that he would because of his stature, but he does a really good job of that. He's always been a good player. We went against this player several times, but that's the one thing that really stands out is his competitive nature. He kind of reminds me how Saint goes about, because he will block, he'll go across the middle, he'll take hits, he'll get back up, get back to the huddle. So he's a gamer. He's a gamer, so it doesn't surprise me the success he's having.
And I mean, even with plenty of preparation, the Lions couldn't stop McLaurin on a momentum-shifting 58-yard catch-and-run touchdown in the divisional round, effortlessly slicing through Detroit's defense on his way to earning Washington's first conference championship appearance in over 3 decades. And while his adversaries seem to fear and respect him in equal measure, Terry McLaurin's teammates are drawn in by his leadership and attitude to subsequently be wowed by his dynamic and explosiveness on the gridiron. Like, this is a player who's been criminally underrated for his entire career up until now. McLaurin and the Commanders are 1 win away from the Super Bowl and have all but turned their franchise around in the span of a year. As a result, they are painstakingly close to restoring Washington football to its former glory and getting it a Super Bowl trophy. And if you want to see what NFL players actually think about Travis Kelce, then click this video right here.